Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my midterm presentation about what I've been doing so far in this class. And so I'm going to be taking you over Module 1 and Module 2 activities. And so on the screen now you can see my Module 1. This goes for Module 1 and Module 2. The setting up this table was part of Module 1 activity, as well as filling in kind of the lesson plan as to what Module 1 was about. And for me, both my modules formed around high school algebra 2 and forming systems of equations in their everyday use. Only one used the LMS canvas for students to go to and really relied on them having contact with each other, whereas Module 2 dove into more about how I can use collaborative tools to help them come together. And so their learning objectives are fairly standard throughout. In Module 1, I responded to Dr. Elwood's comments by saying by the end of the lesson, students should know and display knowledge of when and how to use systems of equations to solve everyday problems. And so taking you through Module 1, here are the TEKs, as well as ISTE standards for technology. And all they really need is just access to the LMS. This can also be used in person-to-person as well. And so the activity should only take 30 to 40 minutes, as well as a 5 to 10 minute introductory activity with their little battleship game, which I can take you through on Canvas here in a minute. But yeah, their activity was to come up with real-world scenarios for systems of equations, and then come together and try to solve them. And here are multiple resources as well as a rubric. Alright, and then Module 2 is very similar, only this time they're going to be utilizing Padlet, and so another ISTE standard involved there. They're going to be using Padlet to go over, to really better come together and mix and match systems of equations. And so students will start with learning how to use Padlet if they've never used it before, followed by posting their systems of equations and mixing and matching systems of equations together and trying to solve them as a class. And their assessment will be based off participation, as well as how many sets of systems of equations they can solve. And so going through now to the LMS, I use Canvas, and their Module 1 activities can found under the systems of equation, as well as their rubric and resources to help. So they click on this, it'll take them to a link to the rubric as well as their activity here. And then coming back, they also have their intro exercise up here and a link to their little battleship game. Coming back to the main side of the LMS, here's our Module 2 activity, taking them to Padlet, which I'll have to click on this to open up in a new window. So this one is for the students to really learn how Padlet is used. And this is where they would actually post systems of equations. For instance, this is student A, and student B can come along and post another system of equations, and student C come along and post another system of equations, and all three of them can come together and try and solve for their variables. So on top of this, I've also done 3 reading rationales so far, but only 2 for this midterm assignment. And so here's my first, where I included 5 hyperlinks to other resources that could be used not only in math, but really in a multitude of subjects, no matter what grade, especially this hour of code. Nearpod and Kahoot are also very popular. And then reading rationale number 2, with more hyperlinks to resources to use in the classroom, as well as a YouTube channel for a math teacher. But this is so far what I've been working on in this class. I'm enjoying it The instruction can be a little bit more clear going into the future, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. I'm learning a lot. Thank you so much for paying attention.